No deal.
Yamas! Okay, now it's working.
Hey, all right. Very cool.
Okay, how are you, Noah? Sorry.
I'm good, man. How are you? Thank you so much for your patience.
Man, I'm a little bit nervous, to be honest.
Oh, don't worry about it. We've already broken the ice by kind of fumbling on here. And like I said, dude, that's just as much. I mean, that's pretty much entirely my fault. I'll take 100% of the blame.
It's okay. Thank
I
you so
got
much.
that way late.
I gotta say, I really enjoy your the show, the Monday show with you and Casey.
Oh, thanks, dude. Yeah, we'll definitely try and bring it back up. With Casey's absence, of course, we haven't been able to film or do something as regularly as we'd like, but we'll get back into the swing of things here eventually.
It's okay. It's a great show, man. I'm sure you guys are going to figure it out.
Oh, thanks, man. But yeah, dude, I love all the support. The fact that you are, joining in the comments section. You were in the comments section for this video like a couple minutes ago.
Yeah, I was trying to set up everything. Yeah, even with lights and everything. All the setup is new, so I'm just getting used to it.
Well, I will say everything looks fantastic. You got the glowing mic, you got the Spider-Verse thing in the front hand.
Yeah,
I see some badges in the background. Not that I'm snooping.
No. Yeah, it's a couple of badges from different cons.
And I see some Bulma Dragon Ball figures, possibly.
More or less. I think it's from different anime characters.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything good, man.
Awesome, man. Well, I'm great to finally. I'm so happy to actually put kind of a face to the name, or be able to talk to it in person, pretty much.
Me too. To be honest, me too. It's weird. I really like to. I really enjoy to see Zenescope streams while working.
Yo, well, that's awesome, man. I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, and like I said, hopefully we'll put some more stuff out there so we can continue with the providing the ambience that you need to continue putting out the high quality work that you're giving us.
No, thank you so much, man.
So yeah, my first question, I guess, is a lot of the covers that you've done for us, we've been calling them anime inspired, anime homage. I guess, did you always kind of go into that style, that kind of Eastern influence?
No, that's really a funny thing. When I started, I have been working on comic books 3 years by now. So when I started it, I was working more on a Western style, drawing monsters and stuff for indie publishers. And I think I shifted. I was living in New York at the time, so I shifted my Western style to anime when I realized so much of my friends, like the guys I hang out with, they don't consume as much superhero comic books as anime. So I was like, oh damn, maybe it should be cool to try it out and see how it works and if people like it. And it was good. I think people like my anime style. I really hope so.
Dude, absolutely. I mean, I'll throw up some comments right here. People are just throwing out they love your stuff. Absolutely. AJ Boyd, Ghost Cards calling you an absolute legend. Catherine saying you're awesome, loving the Zen books you're doing. Yeah, dude.
If you see me looking that way, it's because I have the computer and everything set up here, so I have to look the other way. Okay.
Yeah, dude, that's fine. Like I said, your setup is vastly superior than mine. I mean, if you can tell here, this isn't even a real cubicle. These are fake walls.
No, but it looks nice. I like the drawings behind you.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, so it's interesting that you didn't, like you said, start with the anime influence. But that's a really interesting way that you put it, because it's very similar with my friend group. They're actually, and shout out to all of them. They're at Otakon right now in DC, which is an anime convention. And and I'm one of the few within the friend group that reads the Western comics. They're all anime, they're all manga. So, what were your, influences? I guess when you first started, even if they weren't necessarily anime inspired.
You know, I really try. I have always liked, like Jim Lee, Scott Campbell. I know you
Mm,
guys, you have a couple of covers with Scott.
yeah.
Uh, they are awesome, by the way.
Thank.
So there's an artist named David Marquez, I think.
Mm,
He worked on some Marvel comics, and I really liked their work. I was mainly David Marquez and Jorge Jimenez. I was trying to study their art style when I was beginning to work in the comic book industry. Obviously, Jim Lee and Scott Campbell, like I say, but at the same time, I never nailed their stuff. Like it's super, it's super hard to work to do something like them. So I guess the hardest part for me it was that shift, starting from zero, to
mm,
look for new influences on the anime style and everything. Obviously, you start with series with anime, but then you move to manga, So it's been a couple of a mix of both styles, my Western style into the manga style, and I try to bleed a little bit back the manga style into my Western style.
yeah. And you mentioned Jorge Jimenez, right? He
Yeah.
does like a World's Finest, some Superman
Yeah,
stuff.
Batman and all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's funny you mentioned that. He does definitely like I see like a little like anime influence in his stuff.
Yeah, yeah,
Um
yeah. I think he likes Dragon Ball and stuff like that.
well there was the whole I could be wrong. I think it's him, but they did the World's Finest Batman Superman where they fuse. Like they do like a Dragon Ball type fusion like with Batman and Superman.
I don't know.
Um I could be wrong. I could be getting my creators mixed up, but
But it doesn't sound so far from him, I guess.
yeah, well, definitely. I did see somebody in the comments section, like anime and manga are huge right now. When you look at where they are compared to, heck, even like 10, 15 years ago. I was just
Yeah.
in Target the other day. They sell manga there.
Yeah.
Who would have thought?
Man, it's crazy. I really enjoy in New York. We used to live in downtown, and I really enjoy going to Barnes and Nobles there, right? And
Mm,
the manga alley, like they have a whole alley of manga stuff. And it was amazing. Each day going there, it was across from a school. So every school, the students they went there. So after school to read, and it was like, damn, like comic books and manga, they're still selling. Like people like them. So it's nice. I guess it's different, from a perspective from a Mexican. In Mexico we don't have that type of stuff. It's really weird to see comic book shops or manga shops, and they are starting to pop out just a couple of months back, and it's awesome that people are starting to consume that product here. So it's, I don't know, manga or Western style, I guess we both grow together.
beautifully said, sir. Beautifully said. So I did see a comment here in the chat, and I would like to kind of jump on it.
Yeah.
Um, you know, you talked a little bit about your influences starting out. Are there any like anime or manga, particularly like right now, like modern? I mean, it doesn't have to be a current one, but what would you say is in like your top 5 anime or manga?
I would say I've been reading one of them that it's named Magical. It's Spec Ops. I have it here, I guess. I use it as even as a reference. Magical Girl Spec Ops Asuka. It's this one.
That's
Uh,
awesome. I'll be honest. There's so many like manga out there that just have these insane like
yeah,
long names.
it's super long. It's crazy, right? I hate their names, by the way. They're so long.
Yeah, like
Uh,
Magical Girl Ultra 7.
yeah, exactly.
Mecha Rhino Magic Time.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But one thing I really like about this one and One Punch Man too, it's the dynamic poses and fight scenes in the manga. It's amazing. Like I've been reading also the Marvel put out a Deadpool one, I guess, I think, and I've been reading them. I just looked through the Deadpool one, but they really like, I don't know, I really like to draw dynamic stuff, you know. When I guess I haven't drawn for you guys interior pages, but in my interior pages I always try to make this like movement or motion in the, even in the with the camera work, you know. So I guess that's what I enjoy most of the manga stuff, you know.
Yeah. Quick follow-up question: do you prefer covers or do you prefer interiors? Like, is there one that you more naturally lean to?
I guess I used to work more in interior work, but since last year I've been working more on on covers lately. But I love to draw interior work. You know, it's just I like the sequential part of the business. You know, so yeah,
Yeah.
it's fun.
Now, I will say, I mean, like, there's no shortage of like dynamic poses and like, you know, setup on your covers. Like, I would definitely venture to say that there's some of our more dynamic. You know, any of the I'll pull some up now. But like any of the you know, the anime cosplay ones that you've been doing for us, you know, are just so dynamic. And I want to pull up you were kind enough to send some sketches over. Uh
I yeah.
uh
Sorry.
Oh no, good. You're fine. A quick note to my grandma, Nana, if you're watching, you might want to turn away. But you sent this sketch over, and
Yeah.
I was like, holy cow! I mean, first off, so was that intended to be like? Was that an original layout? What was this originally intended to be?
So I reused that layout for a Harley Quinn one I'm doing for Patreon, but that one, the one you just guys sold on of Cinderella on San Diego Comic Con, that
So
one,
that was
yeah,
this one right here.
that was one of the ideas I sent to Dave. The other one, and it was supposed to be. I guess I know Cinderella. It's kind of your Deadpool character, right?
Yes, definitely got a screw loose.
Yeah. So I was thinking maybe it wouldn't it be fun to have like the camera on first person of a character, you know, like a goon, maybe, you know, and she was stepping on onto him, you know, maybe about to torture him or something like that, you know, with the chains on top of her, or something like that, you know, like kind of a dungeon. I don't know, but it's, I don't know, I like it.
Hey, don't get me wrong, man. I love it, especially. But like, you're right. The downward or the upwards angle, it has that, you know, that power dynamic. You know, like the person
Yeah,
on above looking down is always going to have that authority. You know, whether film, TV, comic covers, whatever. But the twisted look in her face. But again, it is very, like you were saying, dude, dynamic. And I
I,
love all the little details. So this was the pencils. I mean, all like the ropes and the sword, like the hilt and everything. I mean, even the frills, you really get all that little like intricacy.
it's funny because people like, people tell me always like my art style or my covers are super detailed, and I'll be honest with you, sometimes I'm like, no, like I'm trying not to detail that much, you know. I used to detail them so much and it take me way more time than it takes me right now to finish a cover. But I don't know, it's funny, man. I've heard that a lot about the detail, and I'm like, that's not that much detail for me, you know.
Well, I guess to the professional like yourself, you know, it might come like second nature. But you know, when I'm looking at the pencils and I'm just seeing like, I have to imagine the amount of time that it takes to go in there and just do like all the frills around the dress or the different knots within the rope, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm getting too fixed up on it, but
No, 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 no.
I
It's
like to
okay.
see it, you know.
You know that those one, the in the skirt, you know, that detail on the skirt, those details are hard to nail, to be honest. Those ones, they really take some time to really do it. I guess, well, I don't know if I do it well, but I hope so.
I would agree, as would the comment section, I believe. So I'll bring up another one that you sent over to me. So this was, I'm assuming And I've assumed before, and it hasn't always worked out. But I'm assuming that that turned into this,
Yeah,
correct?
correctly. Yeah.
All right, very cool. Now again, I do really like the up the low angle, you know, and you do have that kind of that is a very like anime like you would see it like in an anime intro or something, you know. You got the
Yeah,
music
yeah,
playing in the
yeah.
background, and
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was I was aiming kind of. But I, no, it's funny because I've been going through my covers lately, and I've noticed, I don't know why, but usually I tend to put the camera down, in the down angle. I don't know why, but I'm trying to shift it a little bit, play a little bit with that. So when they give me the edits and decided for a more like not that much a dynamic camera on the that one, yeah,
Mhm.
it was it was fun, a little bit more challenging because I have to go back and say like, okay, stop playing with that and make the post dynamic by itself, so it's I don't know, I like to challenge myself in each cover to do something different, and try to I always try to make the best I can, of what I have envisioned on the cover, but also hoping that people likes it,
Yeah.
studying what you guys or any publisher it's selling and what it's selling, and try to put my best on what people likes about your covers and your work.
That's awesome. Well, I will show this one's definitely one of my favorites. You know,
Yeah.
now
It's
our
what's the name of that wrestler?
Hulk Hogan,
Hulk Hogan.
Hulkamania. And you
Yeah,
even have like little Syndamania on the
yeah,
headband there.
yeah. That was I like that cover. It was hard for me to nail the color scheme, but I really like how it looks at the end.
And now, do you color digitally?
Yeah, yeah. I also ink digitally too.
Gotcha. Is there any like traditional stuff, or do you do it? Is it all computer?
I do all computer, but I have the originals ones. Usually, what I do is I sketch them on paper, like on a thumbnail,
Hmm.
and pass it on to the computer to. Well, I not to the computer. I work on iPad, um, and sketch it there. But I have the originals of some of the covers, because I do it afterwards. I think I've noticed. Uh, People that follow me, they really like to have originals, so I try to have as much originals as I can. So I know it's tripling the work, but I guess I try to go that extra step, to deliver something that people really like.
No, well, it absolutely shows, man. And I think when you do anything, art, whatever, and you're putting the amount of effort and love and attention, and like you said, going the extra mile. I always think no matter what the medium is, that comes through in the final result. And your work's no exception. I definitely
Thank you
see
so
that
much, man.
it comes through, of course, dude. And again, comment section loves it. To everybody asking in the comment section, that was part of our recent Kickstarter. So if you pledged, depending on what pledge level you had, hopefully you should see that coming whenever the art books are produced. We are currently working on those right now.
I didn't
Uh,
have my glasses, so I couldn't see the comment section right now. I'm able to see it now.
oh yeah, and everybody's like, I need that book. Where's that book? Gotta get it. Gotta get that book. Because I do think I love all of the stuff that you've done for us, but that one particularly is one of my favorite. I'm not even a huge wrestler fan. I don't know if you are, but there's something about just the that's a classic image,
Yeah.
that
Uh,
Hulk Hogan Hulkamania, but the colors, like you said, I think they really turned out well. The reds and
no,
the
I really
yellows and the
appreciate
blues,
it, man.
of course. So when did you first, kind of decide this was the avenue? Anime, Western, Eastern, regardless of influence. When did you kind of say, "Hey, I could make a career of this. I can do art for a living."
I guess it's hard because in my case, maybe not everyone, but usually, your parents are a little bit afraid if you say I want to be an artist, like it's not an easy, I guess it's not an easy thing to hear as a parent, that you want to, maybe they don't picture it as a successful career, path. But uh, I was in high school, and the librarian. Do you mind if I tell? It's a kind of a long, short story,
Oh,
but
please go.
yeah.
Hey, dude, this is your time. I'm just here to listen.
No, man. I sometimes I just expand so much on topics, so I don't want to bore you.
Please, dude, go ahead. Be my guest.
Yeah.
Literally.
I was in high school, and the librarian from my high school, her sister, is married to Humberto Ramos, the guy who draws, the artist that draws Spider-Man for Marvel. And I have always drawn. So she told me like, hey, I know this guy. He's married with my sister. I can talk to him and maybe he will come to the school and teach you guys how to draw and give you some advisors and stuff. And that well, the day came, Umberto came to the school, and he started narrating and explaining his work week, and it was really nice to see how, like, another Mexican that has so much influence on a character that I really enjoy, So it was like, damn, like this does exist, like when you're, I guess when you're living in another country, you don't when you grow up in another country, there are some stuff, mainly in the entertainment industry, that you don't think there are possible avenues, you just see them so far, so seeing a Mexican like him doing big decisions on a character like Spider-Man, I was like, damn. And the creativity of the career path and being in this industry, it's just like super fun, I guess you already know that. I mean, you are here too. But I talked to him. He gave me a couple of advices, and years later, I was studying I was teaching anatomy classes uh, on a high school after graduating from high school, and I met a neighbor that I knew him from like 11 years, so it was really weird. Uh, I was in the elevator and noticed he had a cap with San Diego Comic Con logo. So I asked him like, "Hey man, did you win this year?" And in my mind, San Diego Comic Con was super super expensive to go, So it was, and he told me like, "Yeah, I go every year." So I was like, "Damn, that's expensive, that's not normal, let's say." And he told me like, no, I have a collections store. I'm going to go to, I always assist to different Comic Cons throughout all throughout the states. And I went for a coffee with him. We talk about I show him my portfolio. We talk about the comic book industry, and he told me he was going to C2E to the Chicago Comic Con that year. And I I asked him like, if I was able to go with him, like if he will be okay if I join him. He was a little bit hesitant. He said like, yeah, but that yes, that people usually tell you like, yeah, 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 that they don't really mean it, And after that afternoon, I talked to him through the phone and asked him again like, man, I was being serious. Do you mind if I go with you? And he was like, yeah, it's okay, just pay your stuff, I prepared a portfolio and went there, and it I started working. Like, I met a couple of publishers, and one indie publisher, they give me the chance to start working on the industry, and that's how I started. So it's nice. It's weird. It's a weird place, but it's easy to it's accessible to go and like meet cool people. And I don't know, that's how I started it. And that was my dream, and it was my dream to start working on comic books.
Dude, that's awesome. No, wow, I'm so glad you told that story because that's fantastic. I was actually just talking with Dave because we got back from San Diego, and I don't know if you heard, but we met your cousin out there. She was
Yeah,
absolutely
yeah, she told
wonderful.
me.
Yeah, yeah. She came. She came. She was dressed as Spider Gwen, and she's
Hmm.
like, "Do you have this guy's stuff?" And we're like, "Oh yeah,
Yeah,
we got plenty of it." She's like, "Well, that's my cousin." We're like, oh my god. So no, she was absolutely wonderful. But I was talking with Dave at San Diego, and it was just it's so insane how like you know how on the same level like everybody is. It's like you're walking around and you're like, oh, that's Todd McFarlane. That's
yeah,
the creator of Spawn, and he's just walking
yeah,
around on the street taking pictures. There's Ken Penders from Archie Comics. There's
yeah.
so and so, and it's like everybody's just on the same level. And C2E2's I've only been there once before, but I loved it. It was a great show. So that's awesome that you were able to go and kind of get your start there.
Yeah, it's I really like what you're saying. I completely agree. It's weird to see how I guess uh, so big public figures in the industry, right, walking by and being usually friendly. It's weird, but yeah, it's I don't know. It's nice. Um, I guess what I'm trying to say, it's just like people, if if they are like, don't give up on what you want. Even like you can make a future out of drawing. Like anything, it's hard, but it's worth it. It's fun too. You know.
Yeah, no, absolutely, man. So when did you get your oh wait, quick question Eric has. Who was the indie publisher that you kind of first got your start with?
I started working with Broken Icon Comics in a 6 issue series. It hasn't been published yet, so it was 3 years ago, but it hasn't been published yet. I guess it's been published next year, so I'll be posting something there. But yeah, with them, I'm really grateful with them. I started with them, and yeah, it was nice, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll make sure to drop your social links in the comment section. So when that does come out, people can follow
Yeah,
you
yeah,
and
yeah.
get a read. Some original OG Drax.
Yeah, yeah. I'll for sure do that.
So when did you first get your start? I mean, I guess how did you get your start with Zenescope?
And what do you mean by that? Sorry.
Oh no, I'll rephrase. So like you've been working with Zenescope probably within like the last year, maybe 2 years, a little bit
Uh,
more.
yeah, I've been working with you guys since January of this year. Yeah.
That's awesome. So like how did you and I'm imagining Dave like first connect? Did he approach you? Did you approach Zenescope? How did you
It,
get on your first cover? And what was your first cover?
I guess my first cover was the. Let me check it out because I don't really remember. It was.
Was it the Robin Hood?
Yeah, it was the Robin Hood. Yeah, the one with in the on the building.
Let me see if
Um,
I can pull that one up here.
I think maybe you have. Ian
Yeah,
knows it really well. Yeah, it was Robin Hood.
yeah. Let me see if I can pull that one up here.
It was I I I was we were on New York Comic Con last year, and I always carry when I go to Comic Cons. I was in a booth on the show floor, not in the artist alley, and I always carry my portfolio with me. I don't know why. I guess that's how I started. So it's maybe just I'm used to that.
Yeah, dude. Obviously, better safe than sorry.
Yeah, maybe. So it was I think it was the third day because it was a 4 day Comic Con, I think, and it was on the morning, and I each day I was walking by the Zenescope booth, and I've seen like I really I have always like a couple of your characters, guys. So it was I love, for example, this Sky from Fairy Tales. I think it's
Yeah.
a comic book. I love that character. Like I was really that one is my favorite cover that I've done for you. Like I couldn't believe I was able to draw her. I love her design.
Oh, that's
Um,
great.
so I was walking each day through the booth, and in another Comic Cons I have seen you guys. So I was like, wait, sorry, like I wait, it's like a Spanish word, like dude.
Yeah.
uh, I was like, dude, why don't you just give it a try? Approach to them, present yourself, and maybe show your portfolio. You never know, like that's the stuff. I was like, yeah, maybe you never know. Make new friends, new contacts. Maybe they like your stuff, maybe not. It's okay. Just try it. And it was really, really, close to the morning, so I was a little bit sleepy. I guess Dave maybe too. I was like, hey, I'm a comic book artist. I have a couple of booths next to you. So what do you think? Can I show you my portfolio? And Dave was like, no. If I remember right, he was like, no,
Yeah.
I don't have time for that. So, but I guess I don't know what happened, but at the end, Dave said yes. We just went through a couple of pages. He asked me, like the usual questions, and I was like, yeah, it's this and that, and I give him my card. And to be honest, I didn't thought of hearing back from you guys, because I know you don't usually draw anime style. So it was a really pleasant surprise to have an invoice email, with Zenescope title on it. So it was, yeah. So I think that's how I met you.
That's great. Well, no, I'm glad it all worked out. But my parents say a very similar thing. Worst somebody can do is say no. So you take your stuff to them, you show them. If they get back to you, awesome. If they don't, who cares? But the
Yeah,
fact that you're willing to put yourself out there, man, that's awesome.
but I think that's the way to do it in at least on the comic book industry. You just have to keep looking, and you meet great people. I mean, I'm really happy to meet you, Noah.
Oh, I'm happy to meet you too, man. Like I said, I'm so happy to actually be putting like a face to the voice, or I guess a voice to the comments.
Yeah.
So you said you liked drawing Sky. Is there any character from the Zenescope world that you would like to draw that you haven't had the opportunity to yet, or that you kind of like, if I can do one cover, this is what I'd like to do?
Right now, I would say Alice, but right now I'm drawing Alice's daughter. So like just today I was drawing her for a cover. So I guess I don't know. I really like Van Helsing. I like her. I have a couple of books from her. I have Dorothy from the Wizard of Oz.
Mm-hmm.
I like that character. I read just a book you guys put out a couple of months back, and I really like it. It was the end of the story. It was, I think,
Oh yeah, that one's got Guillermo. That's like
yeah,
on interiors. He does some really
yeah.
cool artwork
It
too.
was it was really nice, and the art inside the book was amazing.
So
So yeah, something that happened. It's I have a couple of with you guys. I have a couple of streaming suit editions or Water Day editions,
mhm.
uh, covers that I draw some of the characters I haven't been able to draw on the background. So I guess all of the characters, I think they are really well designed and cool. They have really great stories too.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad you like him, man. Yeah, I was gonna see. I think you had sent over your was that like Water Day? I think that you did with like all of the like the water pistols and stuff.
Yeah, I did two
Oh,
two of them, right? One with Van Helsing on the front, and the other one with Robin.
yeah, and those you were mentioning like kind of putting characters in the background. That's definitely got some like little quick Zenescope cameos. And I think that's and it's Robin in the pool, right? And then you
Yeah,
got Dorothy in the back
the
with the hose.
and that one it's supposed to be Sky, but I guess it doesn't look like her much.
Oh, I think so. You got the eyes, you got the hair.
You're too
Sometimes
nice,
I,
Noah.
I will say sometimes when our characters aren't in their traditional garb,
Yeah.
sometimes it can be a little bit difficult. But I think did a good job. I could tell, obviously Robin's the easy one to
to
to pick
identify
out
with
because
the
she's
eye,
got
right?
one eye.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's
And maybe
small
bring
little
helping
like
with the goggles.
tells and stuff. Yeah, that was the other one too. So if you
Yeah.
could do like any comic cover, any comic work, whatever, doesn't have to be Zenescope. What's on your comic artist bucket list?
Uh, I lost you a bit there, but you mean you asked me if I was able to draw any character outside of Zenescope even, what will I draw?
Yeah, exactly. Sorry, my mic was a little funky. But yeah, if you
No,
could
it's okay.
draw
It's okay.
anything,
I
yeah,
think
like
it's my
what's
internet. I guess I have always liked Batman and Spider-Man, but I guess those ones are the obvious, right? Uh, the thing is, I used to I have a big collection of comic books, and I always see the covers on the background on the back issue. When I was little, they used to print them. So I like characters like I don't know, like Lady Death, maybe Red Sonja, Vampirella,
mm,
those type of characters. But superheroes that I will real sorry, I just moved to other stuff.
no, you're
The
fine.
maybe Spider-Man, Batman, Vampirella, Wolverine. I would love to draw Wolverine. Um, I would like to draw a couple of manga characters, like Chainsaw Man, sorry, and One Punch.
Dude, I love Chainsaw
uh,
Man. That's my go right now.
yeah, man, that's a really great character. Yeah, I
Yes.
think there are so many characters. It's just if they are great, if they are have a great story, I guess I really enjoy to draw them.
Yeah. So we're starting to run out of time. So we'll just do a few more questions here, and then we'll wrap it up.
Okay.
Don was actually asking in the comments, what's your favorite that you've done so far? Like, is there anything in your catalog or your collection that you're like, I'm gonna put this on my wall. This is it right here. This is my favorite thing I've done.
I think well, one of my favorite characters, I work with Dan Mendoza, and one
Mhm.
of my favorite characters, it's that one, Sugar Pop.
Yeah,
That's one of the covers I did with Dan, and I think I really like that character. Maybe that's one of my favorite characters I've worked with. Sky, obviously, I really like Sky. mm, and maybe I have a I'm working on I've been working on interiors of a book named Sad Girl Psycho Baby, and that
that's a great
character,
name, by the way.
it's a fun character too. It's a weird story, kind of a Mad Max story, but I really like to draw those characters. Like being able to draw them on the interior pages really helps me out to polish my style and make it like I guess make their expressions and the way and their personalities for me more easy to understand, and play with them way more. So yeah, I think those are my favorite characters I've worked with so far.
Nice. And I will say to your point, there it is on the back of your wall. You've got it hung up. The cover that you really like that you did. All right, last question here. So
Okay.
obviously you are a phenomenal cover artist, comic artist, all around terrific. If you could
Thank you so
do,
much.
of course, dude, anytime. I'll say it, 5 ways to Sunday.
No.
If you could get any job, doesn't have, you don't need any prior training, no knowledge, whatever. You just pick it up and do it. If you could do any other job in the world, what would it be?
um I don't know. Maybe I really like to make comic books. I will love to maybe make my characters put my characters into an animation. I think that will be something I will really like to do. Like publish my stories as a comic book, but have the ability to animate them. That will be my dream job too.
Well, super obtainable, especially with given where you are right now in your current position. So
Hopefully, man.
if you will
Hopefully.
it, there is no dream, dude.
Yeah, yeah, completely. They are more like objectives, right? Than instead of unobtainable, right? I get that's
Absolutely,
why
man.
how I see it.
Perfect, dude. Well, I have gotten so many words from wisdom from you today. Hopefully, everyone in the comments section has as well. Drax, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day. Thank you for your patience with
No,
our setup here. And dude, just thank you again for joining us today. We're so
no,
happy to
thank you
have you
so
here at
much, man.
Zenescope.
Thank you so much. I really hope I answered your questions without getting too far from the
Oh,
question, you know?
absolute pleasure, man. Like I said, I'm just happy to talk to you and shoot the whatever back and forth.
Me too, man. Thank you so much for having me, everyone. Ralph, Dave, Jason, you, everyone. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much, Drax. Hopefully, we'll talk to you again soon.
Yeah, bye, guys.
All
Have a
right.
nice
See
day.
ya.